Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to welcome, as usual, all those who are listening on radio via WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio. We've got Talk Grenada. We also have got 100.5 FM out of Labbe in Grenville, and we have Rampoon Radio out of Delaware in the United States. So, welcome to another NDC Heartbeat. For today's program, what we're going to be doing is to share with you a recent DM with the PM. And in that particular episode, there were a lot of questions coming from the general public. And we thought it necessary for you to be part of this, to understand and appreciate the interests and concerns of the general public. This speaks to what is happening in our various communities, and we thought that you should also be aware of that, for those of you who missed the DM with the PM. So stay with us. We'll be back with you in a moment.
You have chosen unity over disunity. You have chosen resilience, flexibility, inclusiveness, and strength over infighting, weakness, vacillation, or wish-washiness. You have chosen boldness and courage over timidity and the same old, same old. You have chosen positive change and transformation. You have sent a clear and resounding message to the tri-island state of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada that the National Democratic Congress is once more on the path of inspiring hope and belief in our people and in our nation. That the National Democratic Congress is once more on the path of beginning the process of creating a sustainable and brighter future for our young, vibrant, creative, and innovative population. You have recognized and honored and rewarded the tremendous contributions made by all of the NDC stalwarts. And for this superb choice, I say thank you.
Ready up, St. Andrew. Big things happening. The National Democratic Congress is calling all supporters, members, and well-wishers to come out in your numbers for our rally under the theme Things Happening on Sunday, November 23rd at the SAS playing field in Telescope, St. Andrew from 5 p.m. Come hear our esteemed political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Dickon Mitchell, alongside a powerful lineup of dynamic speakers, including Senator David Andrew, Honorable Delma Thomas, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Dr. Tessa Sincere, Senator Gloria Thomas, and more. Be part of the effort that's transforming lives, empowering communities, and making real progress across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. NDC Rally is the place to be on Sunday, November 23rd, SAS playing field, Telescope, St. Andrew. See you there.
The 2024 NDC Women's Arm Dinner was outstanding. Guests were treated to live music from our talented police band, and dinner was not only delicious, but also set a stunning ambience.
Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to welcome, as usual, all those who are listening on radio via WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio. We've got Talk Grenada. We also have got 100.5 FM out of Labbe in Grenville, and we have Rampoon Radio out of Delaware in the United States. So, welcome to another NDC Heartbeat. For today's program, what we're going to be doing is to share with you a recent DM with the PM. And in that particular episode, there were a lot of questions coming from the general public. And we thought it necessary for you to be part of this, to understand and appreciate the interests and concerns of the general public. This speaks to what is happening in our various communities, and we thought that you should also be aware of that, for those of you who missed the DM with the PM. So stay with us. We'll be back with you in a moment.
You have chosen unity over disunity. You have chosen resilience, flexibility, inclusiveness, and strength over infighting, weakness, vacillation, or wish-washiness. You have chosen boldness and courage over timidity and the same old, same old. You have chosen positive change and transformation. You have sent a clear and resounding message to the Tri-Island state of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada that the National Democratic Congress is once more on the path of inspiring hope and belief in our people and in our nation. That the National Democratic Congress is once more on the path of beginning the process of creating a sustainable and brighter future for our young, vibrant, creative, and innovative population. You have recognized and honored and rewarded the tremendous contributions made by all of the NDC stalwarts. And for this superb choice, I say thank you.
Ready up, St. Andrew. Big things happening. The National Democratic Congress is calling all supporters, members, and well-wishers to come out in your numbers for our rally under the theme Things Happening on Sunday, November 23rd at the SAS playing field in Telescope, St. Andrew from 5 p.m. Come hear our esteemed political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Dickon Mitchell, alongside a powerful lineup of dynamic speakers, including Senator David Andrew, Honorable Delma Thomas, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Dr. Tessa Sincere, Senator Gloria Thomas, and more. Be part of the effort that's transforming lives, empowering communities, and making real progress across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. NDC Rally is the place to be on Sunday, November 23rd, SAS playing field, Telescope, St. Andrew. See you there.
The 2024 NDC Women's Arm Dinner was outstanding. Guests were treated to live music from our talented police band, and dinner was not only delicious, but also set a stunning ambience. Everyone danced the night away, creating an unforgettable experience. Mark your calendars now for this essential fundraiser on November 29th. The theme for the night is Back to Africa. Get ready for an evening of pure elegance. Don't hesitate. Secure your tickets today to benefit from our early bird pricing.
Hello and welcome to DMs with PM, your interactive dynamic, and I think now we can add inspiring, most watched at primetime show here on all our various platforms. I am your host, Oslin Crosby, and I want to welcome all our listeners and viewers on the various radio stations, Power FM, Star FM, We FM, GBN, Fusion FM and Vibes FM, also those viewing on YouTube and our Facebook platforms. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us. Last week we did something special. I know you appreciated it. And this week we are back in studio with, of course, our most esteemed guest, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell. Prime Minister Mitchell, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be back in familiar setting after last week's show, but it's a pleasure to be here, and special evening to all of our listeners and viewers.
Yes, last week was definitely, and that's why I said inspiring, I think we can add now, because I think DMs with PM took on a different, whole different meaning and interpretation last week in that special edition with our TAMCC students. We see them wanting to follow you in a day at the office. There's so many things that came out of last week, and I think it was good.
Yes, the interaction was amazing. I think our guest hosts did an amazing job.
Yes,
I want to thank everyone who made it possible, the hospitality team at TAMCC, the production team, the TAMCC board, management, staff for facilitating our requests, and most importantly, the students for coming out and for engaging and for asking their questions. It was an amazing time, and I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Prime Minister, you know that they will be taking you up on that, right?
No, I know. I mean, once the production team says it's a go, we'll be happy to do it. Whether it's TAMCC, I think there's a request for SGU as well.
I expected another institution to request.
Yes, so we will certainly try to accommodate as many of the requests as possible. Okay. I think we also have to do DMs from the block. So, you know, if we take it to the streets, we take it to the villages, you know, we take it to our communities, we're happy to engage.
Okay. So I guess that's we can safely say that that's the advertisement coming to you, close to you soon. All right, that's good. Additionally, you had another interactive session with our young people today at the science fair, when we had an opportunity to see how innovative they can be.
That was amazing. The students at the science fair, I want to shout at the Ministry of Education. I want to shout at all of the schools and the students and the teachers who are taking part in the science fair. There are some really, really inspiring, amazing projects that are designed to solve many of the challenges we face, from water treatment to energy to the Sagassum challenge. I was really inspired by, I think there were at least 4 or 5 projects dealing with Sagassum, from converting it into paper, block making. So it's an amazing, I think, opportunity for us in government, in education, in business, to really support the students who are coming up with solutions to our challenges here, and I certainly believe the Ministry of Renewable Energy, the environment, we've been pushing a lot for Grenada's leadership on the Sagassum issue, and I think our students have clearly heard the call and are leading from the front, so I look forward to supporting many of them in the initiatives that they've had, because we do want to be able to get to the point where we can convert the Sagassum into a resource, and the students are leading, so it was really inspiring. But there were other projects as well, other programs from you know, people who are producing food, people are producing beauty products, nutrition products, you know, green cities, entire circular villages, addressing resilience, you know, construction techniques, new ways of building homes. It was an amazing time. So I want to encourage all of Grenada. The science fair is on tomorrow as well. If you have the opportunity, please go down and check it out. Please support our students. I'm making a direct appeal to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of the Environment, Renewable Energy, NAWASA, GrenLec, Solid Waste. Please send your representatives down to look at what the students are doing. I think we'll find some significant engineering talent that maybe we can take on as interns from as early as now to help, you know, solve some of the challenges we have.
Okay.
One, I shouldn't forget the Ministry of Infrastructure. There's some interesting engineering concepts for dealing with the flooding in the town of Grenville. So Mr. Blash, as the Chief Technical Officer and as a Grenville man, I would recommend that you go down and have a look at what the boys from St. Andrews are suggesting in terms of how we treat with the flooding in Grenville.
Okay, okay. I like the idea that they're taking the issues that exist on Ireland to correct them.
No, and that's what we need. That's what we want. We want citizens who will find the solutions to the problem we have, and solutions that are homegrown. I say this all the time. There's really no difference in intellect or capacity or talent or brightness, if we use a Grenadian word, between our students and any students elsewhere. We just need to make sure we can support them and encourage them and give them the tools that are required to help them achieve some of the goals that they set for themselves.
I agree. And I know the many projects and programs that government have planned, they will be included.
Absolutely. Right. Well, I should perhaps, I'm going to announce now, we plan to launch the youth economy in 2026. And to me, many of the projects that I saw there falls squarely within that category of what it is we're trying to achieve. So let's say stay tuned for the reading of the budget, 1st of December, and then we certainly expect the Ministry of Youth and the Minister to announce our plans pertaining to the youth economy.
Okay. All right. So 2026 is definitely planning out to be a year to be remembered.
Indeed.
I think you set the tone for that in March when the budget was presented.
Yes.
All right. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will be getting into some of your direct messages sent to us.
Ready up, St. Andrew. Big things happening. The National Democratic Congress is calling all supporters, members, and well-wishers to come out in your numbers for our rally under the theme Things Happening on Sunday, November 23rd at the SAS playing field in Telescope, St. Andrew from 5 p.m. Come hear our esteemed political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Dickon Mitchell, alongside a powerful lineup of dynamic speakers, including Senator David Andrew, Honorable Delma Thomas, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Dr. Tessa Sincere, Senator Gloria Thomas, and more. Be part of the effort that's transforming lives, empowering communities, and making real progress across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. NDC Rally is the place to be on Sunday, November 23rd, SAS Playing Field, Telescope, St. Andrew. See you there.
Okay, so we just wish to share with you 2 ads coming in out of St. Patrick. This event is going to be Boots on the Field, taking place Sunday, the 30th November at 3 p.m. at the Filbert Frame Recreational Ground, Shantimel, St. Patrick. Don't miss it. It's entitled Boots on the Field. Then there's another activity on November 22nd. It's a basketball and barbecue. The location is John Smith Junction, Hermitage. Be part of this event. You don't want to miss it. It is sponsored by MP Honorable Joseph Handel. So those are the 2 activities taking place out in St. Patrick. So be a part of it.
The 2024 NDC Women's Arm Dinner was outstanding. Guests were treated to live music from our talented police band, and dinner was not only delicious, but also set a stunning ambience. Everyone danced the night's way, creating an unforgettable experience. Mark your calendars now for this essential fundraiser on November 29th. The theme for the night is Back to Africa. Get ready for an evening of pure elegance. Don't hesitate. Secure your tickets today to benefit from our early bird pricing.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, you did not miss too much. We're just recapping last week and the Prime Minister's visit today to the Science Fair. So our secondary schools host, present some solutions to some of the issues that are affecting us in our daily lives. So, as the Prime Minister encouraged, if you do have time, the Science Fair will be on tomorrow. Please make some time and go down and look at what the young ones are offering. Remember, they are the future. And while what we may think may not be practical, I think we need to appreciate that, what we call virgin thought and ideas, because from it can birth very, very new solutions to the things that we are not seeing. So let's go on down there and support our young people. Now we move on into our DMs, messages that were sent to us. So we start today with civil aviation and infrastructure. My concern is the Pearls Airport. Is there a possibility of restoring it to private and domestic services for smaller planes and even connecting to neighboring islands? And that question from Ken Roy.
Ken Roy, thank you for the question. At this time, there's no such plans. The airstrip itself is significantly aged and probably is not usable for landing planes. It would have to be redone if we had to do it. But also, we have to look at the economics of it. As it is, we need more planes landing at Morris Bishop International Airport, and we have not maxed out our capacity as yet. And our islands are quite close by, Trinidad, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, Dominica. So we actually, in a sense, have more capacity than we need at this point in time. So no, there are no immediate plans to reuse the Pearls airstrip as an airport strip.
Okay. Thank you, Prime Minister. We move on to our next question. Tourism and hospitality. Given the rapid global evolution of hospitality standards and the clear value Grenada places on educational innovation for tourism, are there any current or planned initiatives to actively attract hospitality professionals who hold UK, US, or European degrees to help enhance Grenada's tourism product and upskill local talent? Specifically, how might Grenada leverage the expertise of such internationally trained professionals within its education and hospitality development strategies? And is there a pathway or incentive for these individuals to collaborate with local institutions or participate in curriculum development?
The short answer is yes. We are currently working on 4 centers of excellence, one of which includes a tourism school.
Okay.
Currently, the 2 main centers that teach hospitality would be TAMCC and Nulo. We've heard loud and clear from the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association the need for a hospitality school. Many of the hotels, for example, Spice Island Inn or Sandals, do their own in-house hospitality and training. What we want to be able to do is to support this by having a national hospitality center of excellence that aims to drive excellence in the hospitality sector and ensure that more for Grenadian workers are able to take supervisory and management jobs, because part of the challenge we face right now is that they're still going at the very low end jobs and we still are importing labor at the supervisory and management level. So if there are Grenadians in the diaspora who have the kinds of expertise that the question is speaking to, we think there will be a wonderful opportunity at the hospitality school. We have a team in place that has been put together and approved by the cabinet, and they are tasked with creating the hospitality school. We have retained a consulting firm of universities to assist us with this process, and we intend to develop this over the next 2 to 3 years so that we can get the school started. We can have the curricula, we can have the teachers, the instructors, and we can begin to take in students to create the hospitality. Hospitality is not just the technical aspect of it, but also the culture, the way we present, the way we speak, understanding the history of Grenada, making sure that everyone in the hospitality sector can answer the questions any visitor will ask. Where do I eat? What type of food do we have? Where do I go for entertainment? Where do I go for nature walks? You know, what are some of the important cultural and historical aspects of Grenada? So we have to move past just the ability to serve drinks or to serve food or to make a bed, to make sure that each person truly becomes an ambassador for our hospitality. And if there are persons in the UK or US or Canada or elsewhere who have the skill set that will allow us to raise the level of service and the level of delivery, then I'm sure there will be an opportunity for them to do so, both in existing hotels and within the center of excellence that we intend to have come on stream.
Okay, thank you, Prime Minister. Moving now to civics. I recently saw an announcement about Deacon Mitchell Day in Florida. Can you enlighten us on this? And that was from Voice.
All right, so yes, I attended the NDC Florida chapter 3rd anniversary event. And at the event, I was pleasantly surprised when the mayor of Broward presented a proclamation in which the mayor, together with her colleague councilmen who make up the local government in Broward, decided to declare November 8th as Deacon Mitchell Day in honor of my visit to Florida and in honor of the work I've been doing as Prime Minister and MP and political leader of the National Democratic Congress. So that's the basis upon which the award was given.
Okay. You know, Grenada would soon ask for their day, right?
Well, I have to leave that up to Grenada. I can't declare a day in my honor.
Okay. On to our next question, environment and infrastructure. Are there any existing laws in Grenada regulating vehicle engine idling? Also, could you please share an update on the completion of the Simone Cultural Center, as it seems significantly delayed? Question from Kiwani Toussaint.
Thank you, Kiwani, for the question. No, currently there are no laws pertaining to vehicle idling in Grenada. And second, in relation to the Simon Cultural Center, yes, the project is delayed to the extent that when we got into office, there were redesigns that were done. The effect of the redesigns mean to some extent the project was starting again, because once you had the redesign, you then have to have those designs approved. You then have to submit new bills of quantities, which led to new costings. The consultant's contract, the consultant who was also supervising the project, his contract also had to be renewed. And all of this meant you had to go back to the procurement board to get approval for the new designs, to get approval for the new costings, the new bills of quantities, the new contract sum, both for the contractor who's building it, as well as the consultant who's supervising the construction. We've thankfully gotten past all of that stage now, and so we should be moving ahead with some greater alacrity on the construction. I can't give, from where I sit now, an end date as to when we expect the project to be completed, but that is something we could undertake to verify from the consultant and the contractor and come back with a specific likely completion date.
Okay. Thank you, Prime Minister. On to our next question, legal reform and youth protection. While I support Age of Civil Legal Responsibility Amendment Act 2025 and the Marriage Amendment Bill 2025, why has the age of sexual consent remained at 16? Shouldn't this be reviewed in line with other reforms? Question from Fred Parker.
Thank you, Fred, for the question, and it's certainly a question that is worth asking and worth discussing and debating. We have to distinguish, however, between civil responsibility and criminal responsibility. Okay. And by that I mean the age of consent that is referred to there is in relation to criminal liability. Okay. So as it pertains to the act of engaging in sex with someone 16 and under, or under 16, consent cannot be given. And someone who's over 16, who sleeps with someone under 16, is liable to be criminally prosecuted. Yeah. So that is in relation to crimes. There is really, from that perspective, no consent age for sex in a civil capacity. Right? And sometimes these differences may be difficult to explain, but a lot of it has to do with the differences in criminal responsibility and making someone criminally liable for actions, and non-criminal responsibility. So I'll give an example. If two 14-year-olds had sex, for example, strictly speaking, it would be difficult to prosecute them. Right? I'm saying strictly speaking. In the criminal law, criminal liability proper starts around 13 years old. But you would probably unlikely find a prosecutor or the police making a decision to prosecute two 14-year-olds or even two 15-year-olds. If you had a 20-year-old and a 15-year-old, or a 21-year-old and a 15-year-old, that would be a different story. Mm-hmm. So the question as to whether we can assimilate all laws to, say, 18 is not so straightforward, because civil responsibility has more to do with the ability to contract and to create legal obligations. So, for example, marriage is an actual legal obligation. You are contracting with someone when you get married, and hence the reason why we've sought to make the age to be that of 18, because we want the person to have the individual ability to contract. And you'd see, for example, that our laws pertaining to driver's license, the ability to vote, etc., is largely around 18, because here you are dealing with personal ability to create legal relations and to be bound by the consequences of those voluntary legal relations that you've committed. Criminal responsibility is completely different. Criminal obligations is imposed by the state, by legislation. There's no contractual responsibility. So when the law deems something to be criminal, whether or not you agree, if you engage in it, whether or not you're aware of it, if you're engaging it, you are likely to have punishment imposed for breaking that. And so when you're criminalizing behavior, you have to be a lot more strict as compared to, say, the tolerance or the permissiveness that will come from the ability to create legal obligations on your own. So part of it also is historical development in terms of how the law has developed. If we want to get to a point where we say you cannot consent under 18, which is what I'm sensing Fred is asking, that requires a lot more debate. And obviously those who practice criminal law the Director of Public Prosecutions, the police, the attorneys and so on will have to get involved. And as a society, we'll have to decide whether we want to move the age of consent for the purpose of criminal liability to 18 or keep it at 16.
Okay. That one was an edifying one for all of us, I believe. Thank you, Prime Minister. We do appreciate. To another question, education and innovation. As grade 6 students studying the gold economy at First Choice Junior School, we would like to know how this concept has impacted Grenada so far and how education through the Ministry of Education, SGU and TAMCC can help it grow. Additionally, how can young people like us contribute to building a stronger gold economy and a more successful Grenada? From Nalel Marichal.
I'm tempted to say to Nalel.
Nalel.
That Nalel assumes I know what she, if it's a her, means by the gold economy. But I will attempt to answer the question. I think, and in a broader sense, when we speak about education, I believe we've all come to accept that the narrow definition of the traditional academic education is no longer the only option available for a small island like Grenada. And we have to be able to broaden education to take a more wholesome look and to give more opportunities for persons who have whatever skills, right? So whether it is the creative skills, whether it is more science-based, whether it is sports, whether it is culture, to ensure that the education system, without collapsing on itself, because we can't stretch ourselves too thin, give our students the ability to pursue these careers, because many of them are far more lucrative than traditional careers, and there's actually a lot more opportunities, not just within Grenada, but outside of Grenada now. So I think what has to happen is that curriculum reform has to take place in such a context so that private schools, the public schools, our tertiary and university institutions take a broader concept and give more Grenadians opportunities to pursue whatever field of endeavor they want to pursue. So if we are able to get those reforms, because it's not going to happen overnight, then I think we would find our students better equipped to become more successful in whatever field of endeavor that they may want to pursue. And I think that is really the discussion that we must engage in. Now, it is not that easy, because the truth is, although we may want change, change itself is difficult to accept and difficult to implement. And so it means, for example, the methodology by how we teach has to change. Some of the cultural biases that we have has to change. There has to be a willingness to let students be a lot more experimental. We have to be prepared to ensure that teachers understand the students must challenge them, must stretch them, so that we get the best out of the students and the classroom. So this is all part of the reform that I think has to happen. But it also means we have to get the basics and some of the fundamentals right: reading, writing, math, civics, and so on. So communication. Those are some of the things. But from what I saw at the science fair, I'm very, very optimistic that we have the capacity to turn some of these things around.
Okay. Great. I think that's encouraging, Prime Minister. When I heard you said, taking into consideration that I may know what the gold economy is, the children are doing their project. And when I heard of the silver economy, I was like, okay, what is this? I think they took me on that. I had to go looking myself, yes, because I didn't know that some of them existed. We know the blue, we know the orange, but the others do exist.
Yeah, they do.
They do exist.
Yes.
So thank you, Prime Minister. What we're going to do now, we're going to take a quick break from this segment. When we come back, we will be taking our DMs from the street.
Boots on the Field, taking place Sunday, the 30th November at 3 p.m. at the Filbert Frame Recreational Ground, Shanty St. Patrick. Don't miss it. It's entitled Boots on the Field. Then there's another activity on November 22nd. It's a basketball and barbecue. The location is John Smith Junction, Hermitage. Be part of this event. You don't want to miss it. It is sponsored by MP Honorable Joseph Handel. So those are the two activities taking place out in St. Patrick. So be a part of it.
Ready up, St. Andrew. Big things happening. The National Democratic Congress is calling all supporters, members, and well-wishers to come out in your numbers for our rally under the theme Things Happening on Sunday, November 23rd at the SAS playing field in Telescope St. Andrew from 5 p.m. Come hear our esteemed political leader and Prime Minister Honorable Dickon Mitchell alongside a powerful lineup of dynamic speakers including Senator David Andrew, Honorable Delma Thomas, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Dr. Tessa Sincere, Senator Gloria Thomas, and more. Be part of the effort that's transforming lives, empowering communities, and making real progress across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. NDC Rally is the place to be on Sunday, November 23rd, SAS Playing Field, Telescope St. Andrew. See you there.
The 2024 NDC Women's Arm Dinner was outstanding. Guests were treated to live music from our talented police band, and dinner was not only delicious, but also set a stunning ambience. Everyone danced the night's way, creating an unforgettable experience. Mark your calendars now for this essential fundraiser on November 29th. The theme for the night is Back to Africa. Get ready for an evening of pure elegance. Don't hesitate. Secure your tickets today to benefit from our early bird pricing.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for always being here with us and being here with us today. We now move over to DMs on the street of St. David's with Norris.
For those who just joining us, welcome to Season 2 of DMs with PM. I'm your host, Norris Francois. This week, we are in the beautiful parish of St. David, the Virgin Parish. And today, we are on the street to get the questions, comments from the people that matter.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Eden Bailey.
All right. Well, Eden, ask your Prime Minister your question.
Minister, my question is, what can you do to help the children that are not improving in maths and language? If you could help them, please, and to get them to make them improve.
Well, thank you very much for the question. And the Ministry of Education is committed to doing everything we can to make sure that we are more effective at the language, math challenges that we face in our schools. And since it's a primary school student asking, I think it's important for us to emphasize that really, when our students exit primary school, they should be proficient in math and communication or language. So one of the things we are implementing is to ensure that we have specialist math teachers at the primary schools. Unfortunately, we inherited a system where we allowed teachers who themselves did not pass math to be teaching math. That's a recipe for failure. And that simply cannot continue. So we've already begun to implement that. We need to make sure that the teachers who are best able to teach math do so. And whether that means, in a sense, having a roving or itinerant methodology where the teachers actually go from different schools to deliver the math lessons, we think that is critical. The Ministry of Education has also begun extensive training of teachers in ensuring that the methodology for delivering math lessons, the math plans, are better structured and that we are able to better deliver this. I can even indicate that I am working with a Grenadian who's returned from the diaspora, who's established a math lab. As recently as last week, the principals of St. David's Catholic Secondary School and Westall Secondary School met with him. And starting tomorrow, he will be delivering extra training lessons for the teachers of those two secondary schools in St. David's to make sure that we can better equip the teachers and the students with the necessary skills that are required to ensure that they understand the math concepts better and are able to do better at math. We want to improve certainly the pass rates in math. In particular, because it really is abysmal. There's no other way to look at it. I think we see it as a national emergency and frankly a regional emergency, because what's happening in Grenada is reflective of what's happening in the region. And the same for language. We have to make sure that the teachers who are best able to teach language are at the primary schools. If they're not, because that's the foundational level, it makes no sense having them in the secondary schools, because then all they will be engaging in is remedial work. I also want to single out a private partner that has really helped with the building and establishment of libraries in many of our primary schools. And they have done a significant job. Grenada Schools, Inc. and the Rooms to Go partnership that has built several libraries throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, including in St. David, where we can allow our primary school students and teachers to be able to have access to not just literature, but literature actually produced by Grenadian authors and illustrated by Grenadian illustrators. That has made a significant difference, and we hope that they will continue partnering with us. I think the goal ultimately is to make sure that all of our primary schools are equipped with libraries and that Grenada becomes the most literate country in the world. So I want to thank them for the partnership that we've had over the several years. So I hope to the student who asked the question that with some of those measures we can begin to truly improve the quality of our math and language scores, but also the confidence of our students that they can perform well in these two subject areas.
All right. Thank you, Prime Minister. We take another question from Norris.
My name is Agnes Charles.
All right, welcome to DMs on the Streets.
Thank you.
Share your concern to the Prime Minister.
Well, my concern is to the Bay Road. I'm living at the first house going to the Bay Road. In the Bay Road, I mean. And then my concern is about the road. It needs fixing. And then the banks and so forth also need fixing because the land cut in. So I'm asking if we could kindly get help to continue to do something to it.
Okay.
So yes, the answers certainly help will be delivered. We've walked the Bay Road. We recognize part of it is the drainage challenge and land slippage. Some of it arose as a result of the heavy rains that we had last year. In some instances, the drains started and have stopped, so the drains have to continue. And then once those, I think, two issues are addressed, then it's easier to resurface the road and for it to last longer. But I note the concern, and we'll certainly have the road officers attend to it.
All right. Thank you for the concern and the question. Now we get another question from Norris.
All right, my name is Norris Francois. Welcome to DMs with PM. What's your name?
Kerry.
Kerry?
Yeah.
All right, so Kerry, share your concern or ask a question to the Prime Minister.
So just ask a question?
Yes.
What I'm saying is now, sidewalks, people walking in the road and things, no matter where they're going, is the countryside, is movements. The other sidewalk and a little better drainage still at the same time. All these little corner, I forget what I just call it. Then you could break down and you could just simply put a manhole over all of them so it's easily to take out. Who have to clean it, go clean it. The roads will be wide and people could walk. It's simple mathematics. Because we're walking in the road. It's in the road every time somebody has to walk, jump on inside that piece of bush. Every time you're walking on the road, man driving wild. And that's all I have to say. Yes,
Thank you, Kerry. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, the roads were built with box drains, and in many instances, almost 99% of the time, they were never covered, which I'm not an engineer, so I don't want to comment on the utility of that. But we certainly, this administration has taken the approach that where we are going to build new roads, we are going to ensure that the sidewalks are built. So one of the things we actually did, for example, in the Cliff Road, when we got the design, the first design, which was bid on and even the contract approved, had no sidewalks. And we actually stopped the project and said it has to be redesigned to ensure that we have sidewalks, because there's no point in building new roads or resurfacing new roads and we don't have sidewalks. So even in the True Blue area, for example, where we resurfaced most of the road, on the back end of the True Blue Road, where there were no sidewalks, we insisted that sidewalks were built so that people could walk. So I agree that as much as possible, wherever sidewalks could be done or where we can cover the box drains and put pavements over them so that people can walk, it is something that we have to pursue. But you'd appreciate that means the entire country, because frankly, except for a few places, Grandlands, True Blue, there's really no sidewalks anywhere else, maybe the towns of Grenville and Gove and so on. So it's a major challenge, and I agree with you. There's more and more traffic, more and more big trucks, more and more 20 and 40-foot trailers being hauled all across the countryside, and we need to improve safety for pedestrians.
Yes. Thank you for your question, and also Prime Minister, thank you. Now we go back to Norris for another question.
Well, we are today with the famous Lucy in Latant. So Lucy, tell the Prime Minister what you have to tell him.
Well, my Prime Minister, I love you. First thing first. You're doing a good job. Continue doing the job that you're doing and focus on the area that you're focusing on. Don't let nobody distract you. But I know along the way, you're going to have a lot of disturbance. But you have to know yourself. And nobody but you.
Yes, Miss Lucy.
Prime Minister, that was a halo.
Yes, shout out to Miss Lucy. And thank you for the support, the encouragement, and the prayers. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Miss Lucy. So, thank you, Prime Minister. Also, we're going to take another question from Norris.
Good afternoon, Kyle. Welcome to DMs on the Streets. Ask the Prime Minister your question.
Our Prime Minister, I wondered, what can we do to help beautify our school environment?
Well, lots of things I can think of. For one, we need to ensure we keep it clean and tidy. And two, I think we can certainly look to plant as much flowers or plants that can bear fruit as possible. That's something that I think we can do. In schools that have, if you do have land where you can plant gardens or plant food, I would certainly encourage this. Or if you can engage in aquaponics or hydroponics or any of these new methods of growing food, these are things we would certainly encourage. I also am a big fan of art and painting, so if your principals would permit and you can do murals on your walls or paintings and hang them on the walls, that is something that I would also encourage. So there are lots of, I think, opportunities or things that you can do to beautify your school. When you've got Christmas, you can do Christmas decorations. Easter time, you can do Easter decorations. You know, summertime, you can perhaps, even if you have summer camps at the school and so on, you can use it as a chance to do painting, artwork, etc. Maybe paint images of your teachers or other famous students who've left the school and become very successful. So there are a number of ways that I think you can do it. But it starts with being clean, it starts with being tidy. And I think once you do that, then the school will always look beautiful.
Right. Thank you, Prime Minister. Now we're going to take our final question from Norris on the street.
My name is Jennifer Mason from Latin St. David.
All right. Speak to the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. PM, for my home, and I'm feeling comfortable with my home.
Thank you. We are happy that we were able to help. We know that you're someone who, for a long time, was living in conditions that were less than ideal. And so I'm just happy that you and your daughter get the opportunity to have a comfortable home.
All right. Thank you, Prime Minister. And that's where we conclude DMs on the Street. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we will be opening up the lines.
Ready up, St. Andrew. Big things happening. The National Democratic Congress is calling all supporters, members, and well-wishers to come out in your numbers for our rally under the theme Things Happening on Sunday, November 23rd at the SAS playing field in Telescope, St. Andrew from 5 p.m. Come hear our esteemed political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Dickon Mitchell, alongside a powerful lineup of dynamic speakers, including Senator David Andrew, Honorable Delma Thomas, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Dr. Tessa Sincere, Senator Gloria Thomas, and more. Be part of the effort that's transforming lives, empowering communities, and making real progress across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. NDC Rally is the place to be on Sunday, November 23rd, SAS Playing Field, Telescope, St. Andrew. See you there.
The 2024 NDC Women's Arm Dinner was outstanding. Guests were treated to live music from our talented police band, and dinner was not only delicious, but also set a stunning ambience. Everyone danced the night's way, creating an unforgettable experience. Mark your calendars now for this essential fundraiser on November 29th. The theme for the night is Back to Africa. Get ready for an evening of pure elegance. Don't hesitate. Secure your tickets today to benefit from our early bird pricing.
Boots on the Field, taking place Sunday, the 30th November at 3 p.m. at the Filbert Frame Recreational Ground, Shantimel, St. Patrick. Don't miss it. It's entitled Boots on the Field. Then there's another activity on November 22nd. It's a basketball and barbecue. The location is John Smith Junction, Hermitage. Be part of this event. You don't want to miss it. It is sponsored by MP Honorable Joseph Handel. So those are the two activities taking place out in St. Patrick. So be a part of it.
Welcome back. Thank you so much to all who been following us on the program. Now we move over to the open line, and we do have a caller online. Good evening, caller. Thank you so much for participating.
Good afternoon to you, Madam Oslin. Happy Tuesday to you. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell. Happy Tuesday to you as well. And Mr. Prime Minister, it is always such a great pleasure to be in communication with you directly. Without further ado, I have two questions. One, I know you are a government of transformation, and I know in the past, listening to you, following the progress of the government of Grenada, you made specific attention to retirement and gratuity and so on. I want to ask you a question. I don't live in Grenada, but I'm a Grenadian, and my husband was a prison officer for 21 years, and he died in the service as a corporal. I want to know if there is any gratuity that he was entitled to, and what benefits we had as a wife and kids for his 21 years of unbroken service. Died in the service as a corporal. Two, my second question is, as a lawyer, as a practitioner, I've learned that there is a particular lawyer who was disbanded from practicing law in Grenada. And though that lawyer was disbanded, I saw it on the news, I saw it on the internet. But that lawyer had a client, and that recently the client reached out to the lawyer. The lawyer did not confirm or declare to them that they're disbanded. The lawyer was doing a service for them, a job I would say, and the person started paying the lawyer a balance of what was owed for the legal services. Is that right? That's my two questions.
Thank you, caller.
All right, thank you, caller, for the questions. I'll take the second question first. If a lawyer is disbanded and can no longer practice, then they can no longer offer any service, and they can no longer earn any fees associated with the service. If, however, the lawyer had done work prior to being disbanded, and if he or she is owed money for the work done prior to being disbanded, then they probably would have the right to collect the fee that they would have earned prior to that. But if they're disbanded, then they can't practice, and it follows if you can't practice, they can't earn any fees. And lawyers who are disbanded, well, the council that is responsible and the High Court that is responsible, you would probably find a judgment on the court's website indicating that the lawyer has been disbanded. And it's also likely that the Supreme Court registrar will keep a list of all lawyers who've been disbanded. So for the general public, if you need to check on the status of the lawyer that you're dealing with, you can certainly verify that from the Supreme Court registry. And lawyers are also required to have a practicing certificate, and so they should be able to show you their practicing certificate and that they're in good standing. In relation to the first question, I can't answer the question without more context. I don't know the year, for example, in which your husband died, and so it's difficult for me to say yes or no. If he died recently, then you can certainly check with the Prison Welfare Association and the Ministry of National Security, and they would let you know whether or not your husband would have been entitled to any pension. So my recommendation would be that you contact the Ministry of National Security. You can ask for the permanent secretary, and you can provide the details surrounding your husband's service and the time and place of his death, and you then get to know whether he's entitled to any benefits.
Okay. Thank you, Prime Minister, and also thank you to that caller. We do have another caller online. Good evening, caller. Thank you so much for participating.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. This call is a call for concern. It's to do at this hospital. My sister, who has twin babies, they're just like 1 year old, and they've been sick. She took them to the hospital. The doctor who was on call or on duty at the time was Dr. St. Louis, the female. So when she got there, the doctor asked her, like, what's wrong with the babies? So she told them, well, they have fever, their mouth is blistered, and stuff is popping up on the skin. Then the doctor would turn and ask her why she bring them to the hospital. If she bring them to spread whatever they have. So my thing is, they're sick, they're roasted with fever. Where was she supposed to take them? Isn't it the emergency room of the hospital? So that's just my contribution for tonight.
All right. So,
and thank you for being the best Prime Minister there is.
All right. So thank you very much for the concern. I will note it, and I can ask the hospital. I mean, you didn't give the name of your friend, so it's or the date and time when the incident happened. But I know that we are certainly committed to ensuring that we can improve the customer experience that people have at all of the public medical facilities. And we, as a government, remain committed to doing so. We obviously also want to encourage all our healthcare professionals to try and be professionals at all times. We appreciate that in many instances they are stretched and they're overworked, and we do have resource constraint challenges, but that's not an excuse to not obviously be professional or to be pleasant. And so we certainly would want to ensure that as much as possible the experience that the public has at our hospitals are improved, and that's why we're working on a quality improvement program with Mount Sinai to make sure that when people experience the services at the hospital, that they leave feeling good about the level of satisfaction that they got in terms of the service. So that's all I can say. I note your concern, and I hope that your friend, should she have to go back to the hospital, that she would have a better experience.
Thank you, Prime Minister, and also thank you, caller. We do have another caller online. Good evening, caller.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Please proceed with your question. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to find out when will be the next town hall meeting in St. Louis? Calling from St. George's Northwest, and I want to find out when will be the next town hall meeting.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the call. We had intended to schedule a town hall meeting for the 26th of November, but the party has a rally on the 23rd at Telescope, so we are not sure whether we will proceed with the town hall on the 26th, given that all of the government ministers will be involved in the rally on the 23rd, and the hosting of large events like that does consume a lot of time and effort. So to then be able to have a town hall 2 days later or 3 days later may not be feasible. If that's the case, we will communicate that shortly, clearly. But if there was a specific, well, you didn't. But if there's a specific, some of the specific issue or concern that you want raised, you can also free to do so on this show, or you can contact my parliamentary office or the Prime Minister's office, since you said you're calling from St. George's Northwest.
All right. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, caller. We do have another call online. Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, all. I would like to find out what regulation covers the Mount Hartman quarry and where can I find such a document? And the other question is, with the request that the Americans made a reference to the airport, I would like to find out what connection or what input does the NNP have with the NDC to come up with the solution? That's my question.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I can't give you the specifics as to which regulations will cover the Mount Hartman quarry. I do know, depending on the nature of the operations, for example, if they need to do blasting, that they have to obtain a license from the Ministry of Infrastructure. I also know, like for any development project, there are environmental standards. You also have the Planning and Development Authority that would also cover it. The common law also covers it because, for example, if you are conducting operations on land that could be a nuisance to your neighbors or to the public, persons also have the right to go to the court to complain and to get the nuisance abated. I do know that we've received complaints from some of the neighbors in the immediate surrounding area of the quarry about the level of dust and noise emissions that are emitted from the quarry. So again, the Ministry of Health does have some inspection powers to address some of those issues, but I can't give the caller the specific regulations. I would have to have it researched or have the Ministry of Infrastructure or the Ministry of Health to answer this in more specific details. In relation to the second question pertaining to whether or not there's any input from the NNP in relation to the request from the US, no, there is no input at this time. The request obviously was made to the government of Grenada, and we've engaged with the Americans on the request. Having said that, of course, members of the public have freely opined on their view. One independent member of parliament from the Tongue of St. George, he's also shared his view, and the NNP, as the official opposition, is also entitled to share their view. I have not heard any comments from them, though, in relation to the matter.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, caller. We do have another caller online. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
I have two concerns here. You know, oftentimes I wonder if the government, the ministers, politicians, if they're aware that some public servants are actually undermining the delivery that the government is trying to do, or they're just killing their reputation. Now, I have two matters that fits that kind of behavior of the public servants. One, the Ministry of Finance, Inland Revenue Department. Now, someone, and I call it a very covert operation that did, to go to my property and decided, because they did not issue notices to me for 10 years, that they would sit in the office and calculate some penalties and interest and send me a notice this year, March, for $8,000, agricultural land. I went to the office to object to that, and what I was told that we send you notices and you did not pay your taxes. Okay, can you provide evidence that you send me taxes? No, we can't prove that. So then, what is the problem? I questioned until I got a confession, and one person told me, well, when I went there, I saw a bush. I don't know if they expected to see carpet and porcelain tile places in a farmland. They saw bush. In every farm, there is bush. And I'm still having a run around, and they tell me I have to pay the money because the amnesty period expired last year. What does it have to do with the amnesty when someone artificially created information without having to do a proper assessment, not even notifying me of anything? So I need attention on that. I wrote to the Minister of Finance, and he totally ignored me. Now, I'm wondering that people are elected to serve the people, and overnight they become the masters. I have a problem with that one. The second one is that for years I've had a problem with runoff water from the public entering into my basement. It has been flooded many times. I've reported it to the Ministry of Infrastructure. I spoke with various persons inside it. I tried to get on to Mr. Blash. I didn't get him. I communicated with Mr. Alva Brown, the PS. He promised to call me, and I'm still waiting for months now. I'm wondering if his phone is dead, he cannot buy one, or he doesn't know how to use a computer to send a return bill. I don't understand. So something is going on. Public servants are sitting on the rear and they are not performing. They are not proactive. They are not attending to complaints. And I need some action on that. Please.
All right. Well, caller, I think, thank you. You haven't identified yourself. I would,
I can if you want me to,
I
but
would,
they can pick up my
right.
voice.
I would ask that you send us a text message so that we can take your name and follow up on the issues that you've raised, particularly in relation to the water that you indicate is coming into your basement. On the issue of inland revenue and whether you were served a demand notice or not, I think we need to be careful and fair in the comments we make. It is not the job of the Minister of Finance to ascertain whether or not you've been served a notice. Respectfully, the serving of the notice is in fact the job of the workers at the Inland Revenue Department. If they claim they've served you the notice, yes, it is for them to prove that they've served you the notice. If you dispute that they've served you the notice, then you have a dispute. The Minister of Finance will not be in a position to determine that dispute because he will not know whether or not you were served the demand notice or not. The law does require the serving of a demand notice. If you are satisfied that you are not served the demand notice, if the Inland Revenue is saying otherwise, then there's a process for determining that. That's why we have lawyers, that's why we have courthouses, that's why we have mediation, etc., to ascertain whether or not the revenue complied with the law before you could, in fact, collect the taxes. This has nothing to do with the Minister of Finance, respectfully. So I think and these things happen from time to time. You will always have disputes sometimes between the revenue and the citizens about tax, about whether the proper process was followed or not. I would not necessarily read this as attempting to undermine the politician or not. Do we want better and more effective service in the public service? Absolutely, yes. Should we have service standards so that we know people get back to the citizens within a certain period of time? Absolutely, yes. And I'm sure in relation to Mr. Blash and P.S. Brown, if they're listening and if we get your contact details, I will certainly ask them to follow up with you to look at the issue of the water entering your house, which you indicate is coming from the road.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Also, thank you, caller. Remember the number 423-3104. We do have another caller. Caller, good evening.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hi. I have a question for the PM.
Sure,
Yes.
proceed.
Okay. As a foreign-born adopted children of Grenadian-born citizen held to a different level of scrutiny/screening when it comes to getting a passport, I sent in what is now an authenticated adoption order to immigration back in August. Now immigration is insisting an amended birth certificate is now an issue. Based on my understanding of the Citizen Act, last amended in 2002, Part 11, Acquisition of Citizenship, number 4, Citizenship and Adoption, it states an adopted child becomes the citizen of Grenada on the day of adoption order is issued. If both parents, or in the case of a joint adoption, are Grenadian citizen. If the above is true, why am I being encouraged to pursue the more expensive path of registration?
All right, so I want to answer this way. We have to distinguish between citizenship and the right to a passport. The passport belongs to the state. The state could actually refuse to issue a passport if it so chooses. The passport is merely a travel document. Now, one of the challenges we've had is that because our citizenship laws are so permissive in the sense of it allows, for example, in the example you've given, that an adopted child can become, in law, adopt the citizenship of the parents. For the purposes of the passport office, we've had challenges with our international partners where when we have been asked to authenticate the citizenship of the passport holder, if we have multiple documents, we have to go and refer back to the law to explain to our partners how the person derives citizenship. That is posing a challenge for us because the international standard is that you normally have a single authenticating document. And usually that is in the form of either a birth certificate or a certificate of citizenship. So the reason you've been asked to get a certificate of citizenship is because if someone queried how does someone, in your case, if you're not born in Grenada, but born outside of Grenada, has become a citizen of Grenada, we need to be able to show them one conclusive document, which is your certificate of registration as a citizen. If not, we'd have to rely on, for example, the birth paper of your parents to show that they're born in Grenada. We will then have to go and show them the adoption order to show that you've been adopted by Grenadian parents. And then finally, we'll have to show them the law that actually says a person who is not born in Grenada but adopted by Grenadian parents is entitled to the citizenship of their Grenadian parents. That's 3 sets of documents. And in the case of the law, it will be you'll have to give them the entire copy of the law. So for our international partners' purposes, the international standard is a single document. And so when you get the certificate of registration, it allows that document alone to be presented to the passport office, and the passport office then issues you with the passport. So the passport office doesn't have to concern itself with whether you were adopted, with whether your parents were Grenadians or not. That back office work is done by the Ministry of National Security and the Home Affairs Office, which treats with the issuance of a certificate or authenticating document that will establish your citizenship to the passport office, and that will make it easier for the passport office, if or when its international partners call upon it to verify your citizenship, that it could say that there is a single conclusive document, i.e. the certificate of registration. So it is not in any way meant to expose you to greater scrutiny. We have the same challenge, for example, with Grenadians who are born outside of Grenada. If your Grenadian parents were born in Grenada, but they live in New York, and you're born in New York, your birth certificate will be a New York issued birth certificate. So our international partners will ask the same question. How could this person who's born in New York be claiming Grenadian citizenship? What we'll have to do then is to get their parents' birth certificate to show they were born in Grenada, their birth certificate to show they were born in New York, and then we'll have to go to the Constitution to then say our Constitution says that if you are born after 1974 to Grenadian parents who were born in Grenada at the time, but you were born outside, you're entitled. That is 3 sets of documents, one of which is a law or Constitution. It is extremely problematic for the passport office to go through those sort of things when international partners may call upon to verify the authenticity of someone's citizenship and their ability to carry a Grenadian passport. And that is why we have sought to standardize the process by ensuring that it is not in any way to say that you are not a citizen, or we're trying to limit or take away your right or entitlement to citizenship. What we are seeking to do is to have a single authenticating document that the passport office can rely on, so the passport office itself doesn't have to go through the explanation of what I just went through to international partners. So I hope you understand why, and I know it may appear more inconvenient for you, but at the end of the day, it's actually to help bolster the authenticity of your passport, so that when you are carrying your passport, you also have a certificate of registration that says conclusively you are a citizen of Grenada.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Prime Minister, and also thank you, caller, for that call. Prime Minister, we are out of time. It is 7 o'clock, so to all our callers, thank you so much. To all the people who sent in their DMs, we thank you also. Please continue to do so, 423-3104. Prime Minister, before we run off, any parting words?
No, I just want to, I think, conclude with where I ended by encouraging the public, the family, the friends, and the supporters, particularly the family of the students who are in the science fair. Sometimes our kids are doing amazing things, and we don't take the time off to go and support them and encourage them. So the parents, in particular, of the students who are taking part in the science fair, I want to encourage you to go down to the Trade Center tomorrow and to support your kids, support their schools, support the teachers who are putting enormous work to make this fantastic, and you learn a lot. The kids are erudite, they are very articulate, they are very composed, and they did an amazing job representing themselves and representing their schools today. So if you missed it today, you should certainly go down tomorrow and check it out.
All right. Thank you so much, Prime Minister, for another very interactive and, of course, interesting program. We will be back here with you next Tuesday, again, as we normally do, sharing with you. You have an opportunity to have that direct line with the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, thank you again.
Ready up, St. Andrew. Big things happening. The National Democratic Congress is calling all supporters, members, and well-wishers to come out in your numbers for our rally under the theme Things Happening on Sunday, November 23rd at the SAS playing field in Telescope, St. Andrew from 5 p.m. Come hear our esteemed political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Dickon Mitchell, alongside a powerful lineup of dynamic speakers, including Senator David Andrew, Honorable Delma Thomas, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Dr. Tessa Sincere, Senator Gloria Thomas, and more. Be part of the effort that's transforming lives, empowering communities, and making real progress across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. NDC Rally is the place to be on Sunday, November 23rd, SAS Playing Field, Telescope, St. Andrew. See you there.
Okay, so we just wish to share with you 2 ads coming in out of St. Patrick. This event is going to be Boots on the Field, taking place Sunday, the 30th November at 3 p.m. at the Filbert Frame Recreational Ground, Shantimel, St. Patrick. Don't miss it. It's entitled Boots on the Field. Then there's another activity on November 22nd. It's a basketball and barbecue. The location is John Smith Junction, Hermitage. Be part of this event. You don't want to miss it. It is sponsored by MP Honorable Joseph Handel. So those are the 2 activities taking place out in St. Patrick. So be a part of it.
The 2024 NDC Women's Arm Dinner was outstanding. Guests were treated to live music from our talented police band, and dinner was not only delicious, but also set a stunning ambience. Everyone danced the night's way, creating an unforgettable experience. Mark your calendars now for this essential fundraiser on November 29th. The theme for the night is Back to Africa. Get ready for an evening of pure elegance. Don't hesitate. Secure your tickets today to benefit from our early bird pricing.
Thank you for being part of the Heartbeat today, and join us again next Sunday when we have other interesting episodes to share with you. Thank you, and catch up with you again next week Sunday. Have a great Sunday afternoon. Goodbye.